Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to more discussion stuff. I know I've been doing a lot of these recently, and I just want to. I think they're fun. I like discussing things. I like putting my opinions out there because what better thing to do is it to put out your opinion on the internet? Anyway, I want to be discussing what the best top ones are. The upcoming top ones, there are a ton of them. Become a running joke in the GD community that there's like a billion upcoming top 1 extreme demons. So I wanted to discuss those who are closer to being finished and like discuss what I think about them, ask you guys what you guys think about them, and it's just a fun little time to discuss. Very much free to disagree with what I have to say. Keep in mind this is fully opinionated and my opinion is not fact. Just keep that in mind before we start. Also, I do want to put out a disclaimer. I will not be talking about every single one of them, despite what the title says, because frankly, I don't know enough about all of them. The ones that I will not be talking about because I just don't know anything about them, or I'm just entirely neutral on them, I think they're just okay, is Eternal Night, a Nemesis, Avernus, Aerial Gleam, Azure Flare, and Misanthrope. I will be talking about the other ones that are coming out that I'm aware of, at least. I did ask in the GDDP server for people to send me levels that are upcoming top ones that are getting close-ish to being finished. So layouts are a no-go. There are no layouts in this. It's just a bunch of levels that are just upcoming top ones or claim to be upcoming top ones. I have not included levels that are claimed to be impossible but are going to be nerfed down to top 1 because as we've seen with levels that this happens to in the past, a lot of time when impossible levels get nerfed down to be beatable, they also tend to be like top 10-ish. So stuff like Slaughterhouse is not going to be there, even though Slaughterhouse is like, oh, this big impossible level that is going to be verified is like, from what I've heard, is supposed to be like top 10. So anyway, that's out of the way. Let's just hop into it. Let's talk about some of the cool ones. I'm going to start off with Silent Circles and Sakupen Circles because I feel like they fall under the same-ish thing. As for Sakupen Circles, it's currently being redecorated, so there's not much to say about it. However, let's be real, Sakupen Circles, as funny as it is, I think Sakupen Circles gets like the funny points. I think it's a decent level, just it's the haha, you know. But Sakupen Circles is neat in the sense that I think it's interesting to see a challenge be fully fledged out into a full level. Sakupen Circles includes the challenge IC, I think it's called, which is, I think it's like top 15 or whatever on the challenge list, which is cool to see. It's just, it has a lot of really cool click patterns. I'm very intrigued by interesting click patterns that you don't see in other levels, because jump to dash in the end is just a bunch of click patterns that you've seen a million times over and you're just really good at. That's why top players are really good at this game, because they just repeat click patterns that have been done a million times over. But Sakupen Circles, especially like the 60-something% wave after the spam, is like really unique. I know that our UFWM did that click pattern using spacebar and mouse to like alternate tap to get the click pattern down. It's really cool. I think it's very satisfying to look at. Overall, I don't think it's that good of a level. It gets the funny points, it gets the cool click pattern point. And as for Silent Circles, I just rewatched a video of it. It's the one that Dolphy's currently verifying, has like 67% or whatever. It just looks like a consistency click challenge in my opinion. Like, I think the decoration is passable. I think it's okay. I think it's spectacular, but it just looks like a consistency click challenge. I don't know if that's just me. I think the idea of making Silent Circles a possible level is really cool because of the whole like 20% of the level is just impossible consistency spam thingy in the original. So having a lot of consistency clicks does make sense, and I think it's neat overall. But overall, it's just, I don't know, it doesn't stand out too much to me. And to continue on with the trend of 9 Circles levels, because for some reason there's 3 9 Circles levels in the list that I'm going to be talking about. There's 2 more in the list that I mentioned that I wasn't going to talk about. But Down Base Incarnate, I dislike Down Base as is, but I will admit Down Base Incarnate does not look bad. I feel like, from what I remember, Down Base Incarnate is like the one level that put Kulak on everyone's radar, because he was like, oh, my part in Down Base Incarnate, and everyone was like, holy shit, that is the greatest thing ever. And if I'm not mistaken, he's also remaking Aerial Gleam. It looks okay, but it's Down Base, and Down Base kind of blows. I don't know how I feel about Down Base being the choice of a 9 Circles level to remake to make the hardest thing ever. Like, you could have at least chosen like a good 9 Circles level, you know? I feel like that's just me complaining at this point. I'm not a fan of 9 Circles levels if it wasn't clear. The other levels that I'm going to be picking up and talking about a little bit later, I have a lot better things to say about. I just wanted to get the 9 Circles levels out of the way because I don't really like them that much. If it wasn't obvious, I feel like that's quite obvious. But either way, Down Base Incarnate, it's fine. It's whatever. It looks really cool. It's just Down Base, but on steroids, and I'm not a huge Down Base fan. Don't ask me to do Down Base. It's not gonna happen. Anyway, I digress. Let's move on to some of the actual cool levels. I'm gonna start off with the levels that I don't find that interesting, and then we're gonna move our way up. First and foremost, we have Abyss of Darkness. The redecoration I haven't actually watched. Kind of waiting for the verification of it to actually watch it. Honestly, Abyss of Darkness, the gameplay intrigues me in a weird way. I think the gameplay of it is kind of like, it's pretty cool. And not in the cool way of like, oh, that looks satisfying to watch. It's just a bunch of 5-second challenges, one after another, together and it looks really funky. And I just like the idea of just combining a ton of really short challenges. It's just interesting to me. I don't know. That's probably just my inner, I like weird, dumb shit person talking. I feel like that's the case here. It's, I don't know. Abyss of Darkness is just one of those levels that I don't really care too much about, but I kind of appreciate it for what it is. But at the same time, it's like, God, I do not want that on the list, especially if I ever get to a point where I'm good enough to play it. But as of right now, it's just a whatever level that I'm just intrigued by, I suppose. I know a lot of people really liked Abyss of Darkness. I've heard a lot of people be like, oh, dude, Abyss of Darkness is so awesome. I love it. To each their own. I think it's okay. I think it's whatever. I think there's intrigue behind it, but that's about it. I feel like it doesn't elevate above the intrigue point for me. Kind of similar to like Hard Machine, where I'm intrigued by it. I think it's neat. There is no more for me to explore other than I think it's neat and intriguing. Next up on the list, Firework. I played Firework back in like January when Karima was verifying. Now it's Trick. Trick is 91 or something. I think it's just boring. I feel like it could have chosen a better song, especially. I feel like one of the things that I appreciate about a lot of the latter extremes that I'm going to be talking about, a lot of the latter levels that we're talking about in this video, is that I feel like the song choice in Firework is just boring. It's a ruckus song. They could have chosen something that doesn't reminisce a Nine Circles level. Again, that might just very well be me just complaining about Nine Circles because I don't like Nine Circles level like whatsoever. But overall, I think the level's cool. I think Firework has a lot of really cool gameplay. I think the gameplay in Firework is actually kind of sick. I really think it's cool. It has a lot of very, very cool gameplay gimmicks scattered around that I think are really sick. So I think there is hope for Firework. I love the ship part. That one ship part, you know, with all the orbs. That one ship that everyone points at to when they're like, Firework is like, you know the ship part, right? And everyone's like, yeah, dude, that ship part's awesome. That ship part, yeah. That part is like actually really sick. I really like it. I did implement something similar to it in Tooth the Stars 2 just to prove my point. I really do think that part is really sick. But either way, I think Firework is I think Firework is pretty decent actually. I kind of like it. Like it's a decent level. I just wish the song was better, and I wish it wasn't monochrome. I'm gonna complain about that real quick. I think the monochromatic themes that a lot of top ones go for, such as Sakupen Circles, which is the red level, Down Base Incarnate, which is the green level, Firework, which is gray, and Nemesis, which I'm not talking about, which is red. Azure Flare and Aerial Gleam are both blue. I don't like the idea that we have so many just monochromatic levels. I want more color in the levels. Perfect transition. I did not plan for this, but perfect transition into Anathema, the Renovant sequel, Allegiance sequel, prequel, doesn't matter. I wanted to really like this level. When I saw Anathema pop up in my recommended, I was like, yo, I really like Renovant. I really like Allegiance. I think those levels are fantastic. I'm very excited to check this out. I really want Nitro to just keep revamping the decoration because I love Renovant and I love Allegiance so much. Visually speaking, I think they're fantastic. I think they have such cool, unique personality. Anathema is just not that good. I really wanted it to be good. I really wanted to like it. I think the song is a banger. I think the gameplay looks awesome. Like, it actually looks like a genuinely cool top one gameplay wise. I just do not like the visuals that much. I really, really wish it was better. I think the color usage is cool. I really like the idea that it keeps up the rainbow-esque aesthetic of it. I just think the visuals themselves don't look that good, and it just bothers me relentlessly that I can't like it, and I really wish I did, because it's not bad. It's not bad whatsoever. I think it's cool. I just think that they need to rework the visuals, personally. That might just be a me gripe. I've seen a lot of people be like, dude, Anathema looks awesome. It looks so good. Not for me, though. I really wish. I think it's the worst in the trilogy, sadly. But we'll see what happens. I think there's a lot of potential for it. I think the groundwork is very solid. I think the groundwork for the level is phenomenal. It just needs a little bit of polishing. Now, as for polishing, Akron by Riot. Tartarus 2, also known as not Tartarus 2 because it's not related to Tartarus. Akron is another level that I think could use a little bit more color. It's grayscale and red and blue for the most part. I think it looks fire. I really do like Akron. I think Akron is really sick. I love the song used in Akron. Akron is one of the few top ones that I actually think has a banger song. A lot of times top ones just boring songs. Right now we've had Clubstep as the top one song for ages. Sphere by Creo is fine. Not my favorite Creo song. I think it's okay. And before that it was it Bloodlust? I don't remember. At the Speed of Light has been top one song like 500 times. It doesn't really matter. I'm kind of hyped for Akron. I kind of want Akron to come out as one of the first ones because I think personally the Akron song is actually cool. For once, I will be able to sit through a top one completion liking the song. That's not something I can say about everything. Akron, though, gameplay wise, I think it's really cool. I think it has. I think a lot of the reason why people think it is Starters 2 is because it has a lot of the same flow to the gameplay. I think the gameplay is sick, though. The gameplay is so cool to watch. Similar to Tartarus, I think the Tartarus dropship is one of the coolest parts to watch on the current Demons list. I think it's really sick. And I think Akron does that really well. I really like it. I think it's an overall cool level. I just wish it was had its own personality a little bit more. I think a lot of people agree with me on that one. I don't really know. It depends. I think it's cool. I'm like, out of my friend group, I'm like one of 2 people who actually thinks Akron is cool. So Akron, I kind of fuck with. I think Akron is cool. That's all I have to say. I think it's just sick. Now, I'm gonna do my very best for the next 2 to just not be biased because they are made by 2 of my very good friends. First of all, Orochi by Novel Boy. I like it. I also think it's kind of boring, but Orochi is one of those levels that I look at and I'm like, okay, yeah, there's a theme going on here. This is kind of sick. Definite bias considering the fact that orange is my favorite color, but that's besides the point. I really like Orochi. I think it has a lot of potential. It looks like it's a 1.9 GD private server level, just really hard. And the song is cool. I think the idea of using metal in a GD level is cool. It creates for a nice atmosphere. Not sure how I feel about the idea of a potential new hell level. I don't know. I think Orochi is cool, bro. Like, Orochi is one of those levels that I didn't initially really like, but the more I've gone back to it and watched it, just because I've been like, people are so hyped about Orochi, I'll check it out, whatever, it's fine. The more I go back and look at it, the more I realize, yeah, actually Orochi kind of fire. It's visually appealing. It has a lot of cool designs. The gameplay is sick, although it's a lot of ship and wave. Jesus Christ. The Orochi kind of reminds me of what people thought Bloodbath was back in like 2015. I'm not gonna lie. That's kind of the feel that it gives me. I feel like Orochi gives you the feeling of what Bloodlust gave players back in 1.9, back when it first came out, but that's besides the point. I really want to see it finished. I really want to see it released. The problem is I just do not see Novel Boy ever giving it to someone else to verify. I refuse to believe Novel Boy is going to let anyone else but him verify Orochi. So while it is on this list for upcoming top 1s, I just do not see it coming out, if at all. I want it to come out. I think the level's cool. Highly unrealistic though, sadly. I wish it wasn't, but, you know. Then, the other level by aforementioned friend. I know, I have friends. I have more than one friend. Cool, I know, wild. Galaxy Collapse by Trusta. What even is there to say? Galaxy Collapse is one of those levels that I feel like gameplay-wise, the gimmicks and the gameplay is really cool. It is one of my favorite levels gameplay-wise to look at when it comes to upcoming top 1. Trusta's gonna hound me for this one if you even watch it this far into the level, bro. I have a strong sense of generic Glow collab from Galaxy Collapse. Very talented creator. The creators in Galaxy Collapse are incredibly talented. They are chef's kiss. They're fantastic. Cannot rid of the feeling of generic Mega Collab, Glow Mega Collab. It just looks like it. I'm sorry. As clean as it is, as well executed as it is, Galaxy Collapse just gives me that vibe of this is a generic Glow collab that no one's gonna remember unless it places top 1. And it kind of bothers me because I think the level is sick. Otherwise, it's kind of like one of those people keep forgetting about hell-themed level because it is hell-themed. The only reason people remember Yada and Bloodlust is because they were top 1s. No other reason. I feel like the same is going to be for Galaxy Collapse unless it places top 1. If it places like 5th, no one's going to remember it because it looks like every other Glow collab ever. Gameplay gimmicks, fantastic. Gameplay structuring, fantastic. Song, really crisp. Visuals don't do it for me though, sadly. I really wish it did. I really like the level otherwise. It's just, I can't write home about how awesome Galaxy Collapse is on the visual department. Everything else, awesome. Sick. Love it. And the final one. I have one more to talk about. This video's been going on for a really long time. Much longer than I thought it was going to be. Anyway, I digress. Limbo. Limbo by Mindcap and more. This is like the one top 1 that I actually think is awesome. I think it's sick. It's so good. It's just, my love for memory and gimmicks and cool ideas is just everything with this. I really want Limbo to not be top 1 just because I want to be able to beat it myself. Because I think Limbo is so cool. It's such a banger level. Everything about it is cool. There's a lot of spinny stuff. There's a lot of gigantic structures. Make it so that you actually have to go throughout the entire level and not just in a straight line that like a lot of levels do. There's this one part that was, I don't remember who made it. I know that Loltad was supposed to make it but didn't. But it was like this gigantic wheel of orbs and blocks and you had to like go up and down and all that stuff. It is really cool. There's a lot of really sick gimmicks to it. And visually speaking, I think there's a lot of cool stuff. Not every part looks fantastic. I think there are some parts in Limbo that do look very, very generic and very forgettable. enjoyable. But then there are parts like the aforementioned spinny wheel part that is really cool. I also think the wave part, just a bunch of lines, is kind of like a musical note sheet where you just go up and down. I think that part's cool as hell. And then you have the part where stuff glitches into, you kind of have to remember it as if it's like this old SNES game. That part's sick. I love that part. There's just a lot of really cool things about Limbo that I think a lot of people just, I don't know if people stopped appreciating it. I think I feel like I hear about people talking about Limbo all the time, but Limbo is just cool. I think if I were to choose completely my personal opinion, I think Limbo is the coolest upcoming one. I think Limbo is fire. I don't have anything else to say about it. Limbo is just good. It executes everything it wants perfectly, and it has one of the most unforgiving and brutal endings I think I've ever seen in a game. The part Mindcap showed a few months ago, where it's like, it randomly selects one of like 10 keys, and then you have to follow it while you accurately spam your way through that corridor, and then you have to just know which key is right. God, that looks so hard. I've never seen a more unforgiving ending in my entire life, and I love it. It's so awesome. If I ever go for Limbo, I'm gonna hate it though. I'm gonna end up hating it, but either way, I think it's cool. I want to hear what you guys have to say. If I missed any top ones, just tell me in the comment section. I have no clue if I got all of them. I didn't include a lot of impossible stuff that might be nerfed, as previously mentioned. There were a few levels that I didn't mention because I just don't have anything to say about them. I don't really know much about them. So these are the ones that I know of that are closer to being finished, like 50% plus done with decoration, or are currently very far into being verified, like Sakupen Circles or AOD. Either way, thank you for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. You guys know the drill by now. I'll see you guys around. Eat your green, stay healthy, stay hydrated. Thank you for making my day better. Hope make yours a little bit better too. I'll see you guys around. Goodbye.